Welcome. Glad to be back. Glad to be back. Pleasure to be here on a brand new episode of People Over Politics. We have another new guest. As always, we welcome new guests. I have another cannabis friend or cannabis 420 positive friend. Thanks for joining us today, Dexter.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. I always like to tell people that the Maryland cannabis ecosystem, is small, it's intimate. So, some people might be familiar with this, dynamic young man. But, Dexter, for people who don't know about you out there, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been working in the industry since 2017. I first started in Las Vegas, got a little experience there working in a grow, then came back home, worked in a dispensary. Actually, I worked in about two or three different dispensaries. And now I'm working for Holistic Industries and the post harvest department as a trimmer. Oh,
Okay.
and I also have a podcast called The Nerdy Stoner where I talk about different characters I'd like to have a nice little session with.
Hey, absolutely. We love podcasts. We love sessions, and we definitely love characters. I know I've seen a lot of anime, right? So I know you're a big anime lover for sure.
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
appreciate that. And so this is kind of all topic, right? Like I'll come back to who you are and what you do, but just referencing anime,
Hmm.
what are your favorite animes? Like I don't think I really asked people that on the show, right? So what are your favorite animes?
It's usually a big question for people, but I do have my go-tos. Like my number one all-time favorite is going to be Yu Yu Hakusho. Uh, Many people remember that from like the
OG?
old school Adult Swim days, back when they actually had like people swimming in the pools.
Yeah, that's
And
an OG.
then second to that is going to be like Hunter x Hunter. And
Hey,
also a
yes,
big JoJo fan, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer. Oh
yes.
man, Chainsaw Man. I The list can keep going.
Okay. No, hey, those are all some quality ones. I know most recently My Hero, I saw that they announced that they're gonna be having a seventh season. I'm
Hmm.
almost finished the sixth season, catching up. So I'm almost finished the sixth season. Um
Nice.
and so you mentioned a lot of great ones in there. I will say that, one of the greats that you didn't mention, or two of the greats that you didn't mention, I didn't hear Dragon Ball Z in there, right? And I didn't
Oh, of
hear
course, that's a
uh,
classic.
Naruto, especially Naruto Shippuden, to be specific. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, those are definitely on the list too. You know what? You can just go ahead and put all the big three on there: Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Because yeah, One Piece I actually recently got into a couple years ago. So I decided that I was going to catch up on the manga. So I read like nonstop for like maybe 4 or 5 months straight, like over 1,000 chapters. But it was well worth it. And now I'm
huh.
trying to catch up with the anime.
Hey, that is lit. I mean, I will tell you that I've never actually gotten into manga. Definitely, read comic books still, gather some comic books when I go to the comic book shows. But, I know that the manga, you guys know what's happening well before, us watchers, anime viewers know, right? So I guess that's one of the things that, you could say you guys have an advantage of.
I do know who dies in certain things, but I will not spoil anything for you. I'm not one of those people, I promise.
Exactly. Are you watching Boruto at all?
I'm not. I'm not. Are you?
Yes. What? You're not watching? I mean, just out of respect for Naruto and Shippuden, you had to check it out. But like, I think it builds slow. But I think
Yeah.
that from what I've seen, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's definitely developed now. As the characters have built up, and the it's a lot more exciting now. At first, I
Okay.
was kind of like, I don't know if this one's gonna make it, but yeah, you gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. Give it a chance. If you can make it through, the early moments, you know, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I'll give it a shot.
yes,
What else
yeah.
are you watching right now?
We said.
What else are you watching right now?
So I would say, of course, Boruto. My hero, definitely. Just finished Black Clover. It was definitely sad when that ended.
Oh, love
Yes,
Black Clover.
sad when that ended for sure. I do have to come back and watch Attack on Titan, so I've been trying to catch up so I could actually watch the new ones. But for me, I think like I got lost around the third season because it took so long for it to come out. I believe the third season took so long to come out. So then by the time that came out, I didn't really remember what happened in one and two clearly. So I still gotta I still gotta go back.
Okay.
But yes, I would say those are probably the main ones I'm watching, and Seven Deadly Sins. So I think that Netflix has a hit there.
Oh yeah,
Netflix,
absolutely.
they can be hit or miss, but I think the Seven Deadly Sins, has been pretty consistent. The movies and the anime series. So
And those fight scenes. Mm.
yes, yes. So I'll give them a shout out there. And so one of the things that I talk about sometimes is how anime has become more acceptable, right, in the black community,
Oh,
and it's
absolutely.
become more. You just see it a lot more, right? You see it embedded in the culture, right? You
Hmm.
see it in rap videos. You see it, on clothing. You see it in branding, right? Like so have you, I'm sure you've realized this, right? Like, I'm sure you've been probably someone who's been a anime enthusiast for, longer than it's necessarily been mainstream, right? Like, just tell me about that. I mean, what are your thoughts there? And I mean, I know I invite it. I know I invite, everyone to become otakus, so
As you should, like, because I know there's definitely a lot of gatekeeping with anime, unfortunately, and we need to stop that. Let's just let people like what they like, people. But as far as where I started, yeah, I've been watching anime since the early Toonami days. Like
yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people,
Throwback.
a lot of people don't really count Pokemon as an anime, but
Hey,
it's an
stop it.
anime.
Pokemon is one of like that.
It's
That's
one of
why.
the OGs.
Well, that's why I say I didn't know I was watching anime, but like I used to run home from the bus sometimes to watch, Pokemon. Like,
Absolutely.
exactly, like Pokemon was an anime, but I didn't realize that until I got older in college and watched Bleach and binge watched Bleach, and I was like, wait, this is anime? I've been
Hmm.
watching this since Toonami, Adult Swim, and like I said, I remember the Yu Yu Hakusho shows, the Cowboy Bebops. Um, so I remember those shows, the Rurouni Kenshin,
Hmm.
so definitely.
Oh,
Um,
also can't forget about the Saturday morning cartoons because they introduced like a lot of really cool stuff too, like Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
yes, I think but there was Magic on. I guess
Was
Magic was.
Magic on?
I guess Magic wouldn't really be considered. I guess an anime because Magic was an American one. I think.
I'm not sure.
Or was there ever a show? There was never a show.
Are you thinking like the only thing I can think of with Magic is called Madoka Magica, but that one I don't believe has ever been on like actually nah, that's not that's dark. That's so dark. But it's good. I highly recommend it.
No, that I mean that's fair. I mean, so as you said, stop the gatekeeping. You know, I definitely implore everyone. For me, I've never been to a fest or a con. But I look to. Yeah,
Dude.
I look to. It looks like a great time. Everyone has a good time, and so
Absolutely. Matter of fact, if you want to come to a really good one, Blurred Con is coming up in Crystal City in July. It's like the first weekend, I believe.
I don't even. I think I might have seen that blurred. And what month
July.
you said? Oh, July. Okay, yeah, I'll
Hmm.
definitely try to put that on my calendar. I'll check it out. Okay, Blurred City.
Yep.
I and so what are some of the best anime fest or cons you've been to, and what are some of the ones you recommend or you might recommend to someone? I always ask that question. Trying to put them on my list when I
Oh
do
yeah,
get to
of
attend
course.
these things.
We have a lot of local ones that happen around us. Like we had a few that just passed in January and February, MagFest and Katsucon. They're both
Okay.
at the Gaylord on the National Harbor.
And then what was the other
They're
one? Magfest?
Yeah, MagFest, Katsucon,
I remember the concept.
AwesomeCon is coming up. That one's in DC. That's in June.
You said what is it called? What is that one?
AwesomeCon.
Oh yeah, I saw the I guess the graphic. So
Mm-hmm.
I saw the graphic for that one.
What else? What else? Like I said,
No,
BlurredCon,
Otakon still happen?
Otakon. Yes, definitely Otakon.
Okay. And
That
what
was
time?
actually one of the first cons that I went to.
So you that's the OG when it was still in Baltimore because now I think it's in DC.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. See, I know a little bit, but I haven't been. So, and I think I don't know what it's called, but I want to say there's one in. I saw an advertisement for one in Ocean City at the end of April, I believe, but I don't remember the name of it. Yeah, it was in Ocean City, at least.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I want to say it was end of April.
I'm
Um,
not sure, but honestly, there are new cons popping up like all the time, just because
yeah,
things are getting more and more accepted, and people want to, do more stuff throughout the year instead of just like maybe a few times, which is really cool. And a lot of stuff is being made by people that look like us too. Like, there's one for this podcast that I listen to, HNIC. They're hosting their own convention, Head Nerds in Charge. They also
yes,
partner with another like video game convention called J1Con.
I
So
think I heard of that one. Yeah.
yeah, that one's in Atlantic City, and the other one's in Philly. But those two are definitely on my list. Gonna try and make those.
Well, talking about black anime black artists, I know you probably heard of Black Sands.
Black Sands, Black Sands. I know the name.
Yeah, I gotta forward the Instagram to you, but I know that yeah they make like comics, cartoons, and they're doing big things,
Nice.
and
That's
I know it's
awesome.
completely black owned, and the team is black, so they're doing some great things.
Nice. That's what's up. I love seeing us doing more stuff like breaking out into the indie comic book, cartoon, just the whole creative space.
Of course. Of course, I agree. I agree. And I mean, so um, one of the things I wanted to ask you was, you've been in the medical cannabis space, for a minute, right?
Hmm.
So, I would you say you've been in the industry since it's been around? I mean, pretty much, right? Like,
Yeah, pretty much since 2018, when that's when I started in Maryland. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and I want to say if it wasn't 18, it was 17 that it started. I mean, so I
Yeah,
was
yeah, it was
definitely one of
definitely
the OGs.
new.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the OGs. And so, um, what do you think the future of Maryland cannabis looks like, right? Like, what do you envision, right? Like, what do you want to see, and
Hmm.
and you know, what do you think you will see at least immediately? Obviously, there's going to be growing pains, but what do you want to see, and what do you prophesize?
Oh man, I've been thinking about this for a while. Essentially, I want to see more support for the people that are on my level, like the people doing the retail jobs, the trimming, the growing, the harvesting, just all of the actual work. I want to see them get more recognition and higher pay, because the fact of the matter is, this is $1 billion industry, and only the ones at the top are making really the money. And we need to, share the wealth. And I'd also like to see people that look like us have more hands in the actual industry itself, as far as like having grow businesses, dispensaries, just being able to actually get some of those licenses. Because I learned recently that, um, actually, I think I did know this, but the first 15 grow licenses that were given out were all given out to white people, and they just recently distributed 3 to Black people, and I think one of them is an NBA star. I think he's actually going to be moving one of his businesses to Maryland, starting one of his grows here.
Yes, yes. Is that Al? Is Al?
I think that's what he said his name is. I
Yeah,
honestly can't remember, but I know he's an NBA star.
Al Harrington. Yeah, most likely.
Yes, Al Harrington. That's what it is.
Viola?
Yes, because I think he said he named it after his grandmother.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Al's doing some big things, and yeah, he's one of the licensees. So looking forward to that. And so I heard that one of the things is you want to see the people who work in the industry, some of the success, trickle down, right, or flow over, and more opportunities provided. But you also want to see, just more people of color doing more in the industry,
Exactly. Because I mean, when
especially.
you think about it, we really are the pioneers. We're the ones that have been getting, locked up for this and kind of mastering these hidden growing techniques.
Sure. I mean, you're right. I mean, the quote unquote legacy market has, you know, furthered the cannabis market and, brought us to where we are today. A
Hmm.
lot of the strains were developed by the legacy market, right? Like, a lot of those people who were cannabis consumers, now were cannabis consumers then, and they were getting it illegally, right? So,
Hmm.
the thought is, you know, uh, cannabis should be um, open for business for everyone, not just for the the only ones who can afford it.
Exactly.
And one of the things I try to remind people is like, as you said, cultivation is going to be great. We should focus on definitely more cultivation opportunities, but we also there's going to be this is still an immature market,
Hmm.
right? So there's still a lot of things you could do. You could be delivery, other ancillary businesses, right? Like
Hmm.
technology, advertising. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Cash processing, and
There's
so
so many different avenues that we can go to just just boom and blossom.
yes, exactly. Like I can't wait to go to my first infused restaurant, right?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
gonna be an infused restaurant with also a few vegan dishes, right? Like I like to throw in. We should have a few vegan dishes to present not only alternatives, but especially alternatives for the Black and Brown community, because for a lot of times, we're not presented those options, right? And so, like,
Hmm.
you need to, see those options, be presented those options, and you know, try them out. Like, I'll be the first one to say that, not all vegan food is bad, right? There's some,
Hello.
so
Oh.
yeah. I know I went on my soapbox there, but
No, no,
um,
no, no. I totally agree. I've made some vegan food myself. I try to eat healthy every now and then, and it like anything, it all depends on how you cook it.
yeah, absolutely. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, I know that in California, they created the Cannabis Workers Union, and they had the ability to unionize. I for a long time said that there is, you know, unreported discrepancies and transgressions that go on in the cannabis industry. I'm sure like many other industries, but especially in the cannabis industry, because it's still a very immature market. And, um, you know, from the outside, a lot of people would believe like, wow, it's so sweet to work in the industry. But one of the things they know
Hmm.
is, hey, it's also retail, right? So like,
Exactly.
retail, there's a lot of things that you deal with that, aren't sweet sometimes, right?
Hmm.
But you still have to maintain a professional demeanor and get your job done.
Hmm.
But you know, do you believe that in Maryland that should be something we're looking at? I mean, I know that we did just pass legalization, and we're gonna have more cannabis workers all over the state, and that's gonna be great. We
Hmm.
want more workers, but you know, are we gonna allow them to unionize? Should there be a union? What are your thoughts there? A person who's been working, in the industry, um, seeing these things happen, and should workers have these rights?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the big things that we're lacking right now, a sense of unity, even if it's not like a professional union. A lot of us, it just feels like we're so divided, and since we're so divided, we're not speaking up about all the different things that are going on when a lot of us are going through the same things. And once we can, establish this communication, we can start exposing a lot of these issues and problems. So yeah, absolutely, I totally believe we need a union. We need something to, bring us together, to have some type of representation, some type of protection from a lot of these corporations, because that's what a lot of these businesses are. They're corporations, and I hate to say it, but weed's becoming corporate. The cannabis
Mhm.
industry itself is becoming corporate. Like, I know there are a lot of companies out there that are trying to treat the industry like it's the legal um, uh, alcohol market. Like, there are some places out there that are trying to make the total line of cannabis, and that just doesn't sound very, very
Total
good. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right about that. That the commercialization, and the corp the commercialization, legalization, and the corporatization go hand in hand,
Hmm.
right? As we see this rec push, we're gonna see, of course, um, more business interest uh,
Hmm.
in cannabis, and big business, big cannabis, right? Like we're gonna see less grassroots, controlled cannabis, right?
Hmm.
And because what we know that this is a capitalistic society,
Absolutely.
and we know that for me, I have I and it's funny. I went to SunMed yesterday, right? And so we talk about quality over quantity. You
Hmm.
know, Jake, doing the fine thing at SunMed, definitely, have called has caused them to be the powerhouse they are today. But he completely understands the position. He said, you have Budweiser, you have Grey Goose. I'm sure you've heard it, right?
Yep.
And they understand that they are not Grey Goose. They don't aspire to be Grey Goose, and they stay in their lane, right? And
Hmm.
so I can respect that. I did, and most people would respect that, right?
Hmm.
And so the one thing that I kept bringing up was, in just different questions, different conversations was, craft cannabis,
Hmm.
and, living soil. One of the things we know that, or we've seen is living soil doesn't necessarily work well on like a super, super large scale. Like you might be able to support smaller cultivations, but it definitely doesn't really work well on a super large scale because
Hmm.
it's technician, it's so expensive, and it's definitely just a lot more to keep up with. And so um, I think that imagine if we had a world where, as we said, SunMed is great. They have the price point, they have variety, they understand their lane, right? Imagine if we had a world of just SunMeds, right? Like necessarily that wouldn't be diversity in the market.
Nope.
You need like craft cannabis. And that
Hmm.
was one of the great things when I went to Maine. They had so much like organically grown craft cannabis. I know that we talk about that, the pesticides that they're spraying, are organic, sure. But at the end of the day, when I went and had some of this organic flower in Maine, it was completely different from what I would call, or what they would say is organically grown, in Maryland,
Hmm.
right? It was definitely like, because what they mean by that point is like they're not spraying it, they're not,
Right.
so yeah.
No, I totally agree. I like, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. Like, I hope that we can have when recreational happens is more support for craft cannabis. Like, I would love to go to a craft cannabis festival. Like, they have craft beer festivals, so why not craft cannabis festivals? Like, I'd love to be able to walk up and have maybe, like, just a tiny joint to be able to taste your product, see how it is, let you know what I think it is, and if I want to buy an ounce, I can buy an ounce.
Hey, I would love that. The craft cannabis cup. Love it.
It'd be like the farmer's market, you know?
Yes, like the farmers market. And that's why I've been pushing for, cottage business licenses. I know that they're, going to allow micro business licenses, but cottage business licenses will be a little bit differently because
Hmm.
with home cultivation, it would allow you to grow in your home. It would allow you to, sell your products, get them or get your products tested, and then
Hmm.
sell your products, right? And so like that allows you to, maintain your small business, right? Like imagine if you have a CBD business. We know several CBD business owners. One you
Hmm.
might know, Stibble Treats. So Lawan, so she does all her bath butters, or bath bombs, body butters, chapstick, and all her food items. Some of which might be normal, some of which might be infused,
Hmm.
right? And like imagine if she's able to put things like that on shelves at Walmart, right? Like shelves at Whole Food,
Hmm.
right? Like that would be able to change the lives of her family. Like I know that she works hard in getting her business out there, but imagine if she was able to, have that cottage business license. I know that the
Hmm.
micro business license allows people to get a space or acquire a smaller space, but cottage businesses are as American as anything else, right? Like so yeah, that's my little segue. But if we had cottage businesses, we would see more of those craft cannabis, you know, distributors for sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
And then that could actually be like its own business in itself, like the cottage cannabis business, if you will. Like that could be like just a
Chris,
whole network of people just, oh, that sounds amazing. Oh,
have
I
you
really
have you
want
have
that.
you have you ever visited Maine?
I have not yet, but
So
I need to. I need to visit more rec states.
yeah, so I will tell you that I stand by this statement. I believe that Maine has the best cannabis in the U.S. Right?
Really?
And the reason I say this, is because I've definitely been to a lot of other places, consumed cannabis from a lot of other places, but Maine so fresh. Have you ever done the that hit of the pre roll, then you just do like a dry hit?
Yeah.
Right, like oh my gosh, the how fresh it is and how like flavorful everything I've had was just out of this world. The only downside is Maryland does very great on terpene testing and
Hmm.
reporting, so I was disappointed to not know the terpene profiles, but I think they had some type of barcode or something you can scan. But yeah,
That is strange that not more people are releasing the testing info. Like that's another thing that I want more too, or just more testing in general. Like if I'm not mistaken, Steeplechase is the only company in Maryland that tests throughout like all of the grows. And I just feel
okay.
like, we need more accountability. It's always good to have a second or third pair of eyes check out something because, you know, things happen, people miss things. And again, with like you said, with the craft cannabis, it'd be nice to know, like, if say you or I grew the same strain, like say you and I both grew Granddaddy Purple, we both took it in to get tested. Hey, yours is testing higher than mine. What did you do that I didn't do? Let's trade some secrets. Let's try to both make our stuff better. Or even if you want to do like some crossbreeding, like say you have some alien mints and I have like some Girl Scout cookies, and we want to like try to crossbreed some stuff. If we do that, then we can, see what the levels are on that and different type. I just want people to have more access to the science, because the more access to the science they have, the more they can know and the better products that they can grow.
Yes, absolutely. Get the cannabis science. Yes, and that's why we need to legalize it federally so we can research this more, have that
Yes.
science. And so of course we do always a rapid questions. And
Hmm.
so you don't have to think as hard. Very, very light. Who is your favorite superhero and why? And then, also throw in anime character and why, since, we did mention
Okay.
that.
Favorite superhero is gonna have to be Spider-Man. I've loved him ever since I was a kid. Like I remember watching the Spider-Man cartoon on Fox Kids. Yes, there was a Fox Kids for the people that might be seeing this and are like, "What's Fox Kids?"
No, gotcha.
But I loved him just because he was just the nerdy kid that got superpowers, and instead of being an asshole, he decided to, you know what, I'm going to help people. Well, I'll take that back. He, you know, there had to be the thing that made him become Spider-Man, but still, he chose to be Spider-Man. He's a street level hero that just helps out the little guy and is there when the Avengers and other people need him.
I
I just
appreciate that.
like how, yeah, he's relatable. There we go.
And anime.
Anime is going to be a little bit tougher. Honestly, since I got into One Piece, Luffy is like just he's probably my favorite protagonist. He's just so funny and goofy and
That's fair.
I just love him so much.
I got into One Piece later in life. I haven't finished it. I'm in the episode 7s or something like that. But I will
Like
will
700?
yeah, 700 something, yeah.
Good, nice, man. You're almost caught up.
I still get well, no, they're in the thousands or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean compared to where, you know, you could be in the beginning. Yeah.
Well, I dropped mine just briefly. Static Shock and Naruto. You know,
Nice.
I can't go into the why, but we'll talk about that why later. So my next question for you is favorite terpene and why.
Myrcene, because I have terrible anxiety and it helps with it a lot.
Word, okay. Mine is limonene. It
Nice.
definitely helps me focus and it's very uplifting.
Yeah.
And that mercy, yeah, definitely that definitely quality. Um, my last question for you is: do you have a quote that you live by?
Quote that I live by. This is something that actually I've been telling myself for a while. Like I'll look in the mirror, look at myself, and just tell myself, "This is not your final form."
Hey,
Because as we all know in anime, that's what they always say. There's always another level.
I like it. I like it, and that's very anime of you. That's very anime of you. This is not my final form. I love it. Everybody, this was Dex. Dex, tell people how they can stay connected with you. Give them, whatever handles at you want to give them.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nerdy Stoner Pod. I'm also at Pokedex Rocket. That's Rocket with two T's on Instagram. That's my personal page. And I also have a YouTube channel I'm going to start uploading stuff on really soon. Just look for the Nerdy Stoner Podcast on YouTube.
Yes. Hey, everybody, check it out. Dex, he's very knowledgeable, and he is in the community. So I look forward to seeing you at some 420 festivities sometime around the week, brother. And
Oh, and one more thing. The MJ Connect is hosting a cannabis cook-off on May 21st, and I will be participating. They did one last year, and my dish came in third place, so I'm going for number one this year.
hey, yes, I'm sure my boy Sticks was there as well, and probably Luan from Stribble. So I look forward to seeing everybody. Yes,
Absolutely. Come try some good
cook-off.
food.
Yes, and the MJ Connect. They're good people. Terrell, good folks.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll see you soon. Peace. Be breezy, my brother.
You too.
Oh, everybody, I'm sorry. He got cut out of the studio really quickly, but he, wishes everybody well. And, this was a great special. I hope everybody learned a little something. Hey, if you didn't, at least I hope you were relaxing and kicking back. See you next time, y'all.